if you live in Florida, you might have heard of the Deering Estates and Vizcaya Museum and Gardens, but the land that this sits on, it's a burial ground. And when I was doing the research, things got dark. But look, don't worry, I did some digging. Let's get into it. Now, first off, I gotta say something, all right? This is gonna be a long video of rich people doing rich things, all right? So I'm gonna need y'all to pay attention. Now, this story starts off with two brothers, James and Charles, who are very, very rich. They were from up north, and they said, look, we want to build some, nice little summer homes we could go to and chill out. And they did that right in the Miami area. Now, this is Charles, okay, one of the brothers. When he graduated from Navy school, he went to work for his father's firm, and his father had a harvester firm, all right? And it did very, very well. Very well. Now, James and Charles, all right? There's Charles, there's James, all right? They move up really quickly in their father's firm. And they say, look, this is the time for us to go ahead and buy this land. So that's exactly what they do. They purchased 444 acres down in the Miami area. Now, when the brothers purchased this land, all right, the town that it was in, it was called Cutler at the time. And this little building right here, it was already there. It was called the Richmond Cottage. It was a 22-room hotel. And at the time, it was considered to be the most southerly hotel in America. Now, they bought the land, all right, in 1916. But in 1917, the older brother, Charles, he starts investing into the land. And the first thing that he does is he builds, his forever summer home. Now, Charles built this whole house out of stone, all right? He had a fear of this house catching on fire. And the reason is because the Chicago fires, all right? It did something to him. He said, look, I don't want to go through that. So what we're going to do is we're going to build it out of stone, and we're not going to put a stove in this house. Now, over the next 5 years, from 1917 to 1922, Charles puts a lot of money into this property. He builds a powerhouse. There's a farm here now. He puts a river in here. He got bridges coming in. He's really doing it big on this property. Now, as they're building on this land and venturing out, they digging, they doing all kind of cool stuff like that, they run into something, all right? They run into a burial ground. Yeah. It had all kind of prehistoric bones and human bones as well. Now, look, I'm going to pause this story real quick, and I don't want y'all to be upset with me, but I'm going to talk about this after I talk about the Vizcaya Museum. Just be patient with me. Now, the brother James, all right, he was a part of the Deering Estates for a little while, but he ends up moving up the road a little bit, all right, getting his own property, building his own thing. And I'm going to be real with you. This place is amazing. Now, just up the road, about 30 minutes away from the Deering Estate, James gets his own little piece of heaven. All right, because this place is nothing short of amazing. Now, the land that this property sits on, all right, is fantastic, all right? It's got a little garden here, all right? Got the little boat dock going over there. There's the house. It also has a lighthouse here that was broken for years. Nobody had the money to repair it, but James did. But that's not why I want to show y'all this house. The inside of this house screams a whole lot of money. Now, a lot of the stuff inside of this house is original as it can be. They had a few renovations, things like that, hurricanes, whatever, whatnot. But could you imagine having this back in the early 1900s? Think about how much money you got to have to be able to pull this off. How much money you got to have this in your house back in 1920s in Florida? It's ridiculous. Look at this. There how you get into the pool leading out of one of the bedrooms, bruh. You can just go ahead and just step down in this. I would love to just be here for like 10 minutes. Now, look, I want to put this in here, but I know a lot of people ain't gonna believe me. But just do your research. But the total cost, when he was done building this, all right, the total, $15 million, all right, in the 1920s. That's a lot of money, dog. They was doing more than harvesting. You know what? They might have been harvesting something. Now, back to the burial ground, because I know y'all want to hear the rest of this, but this is on the Deering Estates, like I said. But people don't know how to leave stuff alone, and this is exactly why. Now, there's two stories that I got to tell you, all right? Story number one. One of the Deering brothers' kids, one of his sons, all right, decides to dig up this burial ground and see what was in it. And like I said, there was bones, prehistoric animals, and humans. So he takes the bones, some of them, and going on about his business, thinking everything gonna be hunky-dory. But, in the long run, it wasn't. Now, the son doesn't bring these bones back, but somebody else, digs up this burial ground because it said that it was supposed to be a pirate's treasure inside of there. So a bunch of people were digging up this burial ground. Now, the people that dug it up, all right, they took bones as well. They taking stuff for whatever reasons. Maybe they want to sell it. I don't know. But shortly after them taking the bones, they bring the bones back and try to bury the bones back in the place that they put them. Come to find out, their life started going really, really wrong. Family members started dying. Bruh came home, his barn was on fire. He said, look, we're going to take these bones back because I am not playing with these spirits. Now, over the years, okay, after the son dug up this stuff, all right, weird stuff started happening on the property. People started passing away, randomly. Job accidents were just random. And then people didn't understand what was going on. But 1992, okay, I think it was, time to pay up, okay? Because Hurricane Andrew came through and devastated this property. Now, the hotel that sat right next to the stone house on this property, it was about 75% destroyed during this hurricane, all right? But something else happened during this hurricane. They discovered something. Now, during Hurricane Andrew, this house held up pretty well, all right? It's all stone. But underneath, the first floor kind of got flooded out, all right? It had like 16-foot waves come in. But when they were renovating the bottom level of this house, they found a cellar, a wine cellar, that nobody knew about until 1990s. Now, mind you, okay, Charles passes away in 1927 and leaves everything to his wife and his kids. And after that, it goes through owners and people doing stuff with this place, but nobody never knew that this wine cellar was down there. And the thing about it is, it was full of wine. Could you imagine how much them bottles of wine was going? I know somebody was selling them things. Now, they were able to rebuild, all right? Took them a couple years to get back right. But some say, like, maybe this was a, hey, look, you might want to get them bones back message. Them ancestors, they can't text. So they was like, look, we just going to send a hurricane your way. Just give us the bones back and everything will be good. Now, if you want to come visit this property, all right, this is a museum. You can come to both of these spots, the other house as well. Just Google them, get their times and prices. And if you're interested in stuff like this, pull up. Now, the Vizcaya Museum and Gardens is also open to the public, all right? Just Google them, get the times that they're open. I think it's about $25. I looked it up. I think it's about $25 to get into this, which ain't bad to be surrounded in this much, great architecture and artwork, all kind of just history in this house. I'm definitely coming here. Now, look, I don't know what y'all gonna do to remember this. Like it, comment, share it, I don't know. But the more you know, we got to find them bones and replace them bones before I come here, all right? Peace.